I didn't hear the front door open, but I knew someone was here. Mom's laugh floated down the hallway, a little higher pitched than usual, almost nervous. "Mom?" I called, setting down my book. "Oh, hey, sweetie," she said, her voice a little too bright. "Come meet someone." I frowned. "Who?" A man stepped into the living room. He was tall, dressed in a crisp shirt that looked expensive. His smile was wide, teeth too white. He held out a hand. "Hi, I'm Richard," he said. "I guess I'm your new stepdad?" I froze. "Stepdad?" My voice sounded small, unsure. Mom put a hand on my shoulder. "We talked about this, honey. I want you to give him a chance." I looked at Richard, studying him. Something about the way he tilted his head made me uneasy. "Sure," I said cautiously, shaking his hand. His grip was firm, too firm. Ellie ran in from the kitchen. "Hi, are you going to play with me?" she asked, bouncing on her toes. Richard crouched slightly to her level. "Of course, kiddo. We'll play. I like games." I noticed Mom's glance toward me. She was smiling, but her eyes flicked with something I didn't understand. "So, you like reading?" Richard asked, nodding toward my book. I shrugged. "Yeah, I guess." "Great," he said. "Reading's good. Helps you think, right?" He glanced at Mom, a little nod like a secret signal. I frowned. Something felt off, but I didn't know what yet. Dinner that night was quiet, mostly Mom and Richard talking. I tried to join in, but every time I said something, Richard laughed lightly and repeated it in a mocking tone. "I guess," he says, Richard said, grinning at Mom. Classic kid response. Mom giggled nervously. "He's just shy." "Richard." "Shy, right," Richard said, turning to me. "You'll grow out of it." I felt heat rise to my cheeks. "I'm not shy," I said, my voice sharper than I intended. "Oh, relax," he said, leaning back in his chair. "I'm just teasing." Ellie looked at me, worried. "Don't be mad at him," she whispered. "I'm not mad," I muttered. But I was. After dinner, Mom cleared the table, humming softly. I followed Ellie into her room to help her with homework. "Do you like him?" she asked quietly. I hesitated. "I don't know. He seems, different." Ellie frowned. "Mom said he's nice." I shrugged. "Maybe, but nice can mean a lot of things." Later, I overheard Mom and Richard in the kitchen. "You handled that well," he said, "but you might need to watch him more closely. He can be stubborn." I stiffened. "Watch me?" I whispered to myself. Mom said, "I don't know what you mean." "Oh, just guiding him," Richard said smoothly. "Sometimes kids need direction, especially smart ones." I clenched my fists. Smart? That wasn't an insult. But the way he said it, like I was a problem. The next morning, Richard was already in the kitchen reading the paper. "Morning," he said, looking at me. "Sleep well?" I nodded. "You seem tense," he said, tilting his head. "Everything okay with school, friends?" I frowned. "Yeah, everything's fine." He smiled. "Good. I like kids who keep their composure, shows strength." Ellie ran in, tugging at his sleeve. "Play with me." "Not now, pumpkin," he said. "I'm talking to your brother." I froze. He didn't even glance at me when he said it, just made me feel invisible. After Mom left for work, I tried to focus on homework. Richard hovered nearby, asking questions, offering advice, correcting me. Every word felt like a test. "You really should rewrite that paragraph," he said. "It's a bit dull. Don't you want to impress your teachers?" I thought it was fine, I muttered. "No, you can do better." "You always can," he said, smiling. "I'm just helping." I closed the notebook. "I don't need help." "You'll learn eventually," he said, calm, almost amused. Ellie peeked around the corner. "Don't be mad at him, big brother." "I'm not," I whispered, though I was. That evening, I confronted him. "Why are you doing this?" I asked, standing in the hallway outside his office. Why do you have to make everything so controlled? He looked up from his laptop. Controlled? I'm just helping your mom, helping the family. You're turning them against me, I said. I can feel it. He leaned back, smiling. I don't turn anyone against anyone. I just guide them. Maybe you're reading too much into things. I'm not, I said, voice shaking. You laugh at me, correct my homework, tell mom I'm stubborn, you're isolating me. Richard's smile faded slightly. Isolation is a strong word. I'm just making sure everyone's balanced. I shook my head. Balanced? You're trying to erase me. He tilted his head again, calm, collected. Erasing? No. You're part of this family, but families evolve. You'll see eventually. I turned away, anger and hurt twisting inside me. I hope you're wrong, I muttered. Ellie peeked from the stairs. Don't let him get to you, she whispered. I swallowed hard. I won't, I said. But deep down, I knew he already had. As I went to my room, I realized something cold and heavy settle in my chest. Richard wasn't just a new adult in the house. He was a storm, subtle, quiet, but powerful. And I was already standing in the... I sat on my bed staring at the ceiling. I didn't know how to fight him yet, but I knew I had to, or I would lose everything I cared about. I walked into school that morning feeling like the walls were closing in. Everyone seemed to glance at me strangely, whispers brushing past my ears. Hey, man, Tom said, falling into step beside me. You okay? You look... off. I shrugged. I'm fine. You don't look fine. I said I'm fine. My voice sounded sharper than I meant. He frowned. All right, just don't shut me out, okay? I gave him a small nod, but my stomach twisted. I didn't know if I could tell anyone. Not really. At lunch, I joined my usual table. Hey, what's up with you? A friend asked. Heard some stuff. What stuff? I asked, my voice cold. They exchanged glances. Just that you got in trouble yesterday. Something about arguing with a teacher. I blinked. I didn't. They said you yelled at Mr. Benson in class. I clenched my fists under the table. I didn't. Maybe it's a misunderstanding, Tom said quickly. Ignore it. But it didn't feel like a misunderstanding. Richard had been here already. I could feel it. The way he smiled at Mom, the stories he'd weave, it was already spreading even to school. That afternoon, Ms. Harris, the counselor, called me into her office. Have a seat, please, she said kindly. I did. Hi, Ms. Harris. Hi, I just wanted to talk about yesterday's incident. The teacher said there was yelling and, well, we need to make sure you're okay. I'm fine, I said. She studied me, frowning slightly. Are you sure? Sometimes things at home affect behavior at school. I looked down at my hands. I said I'm fine. All right, but if anything's wrong, you can talk to me. No. Her eyes lingered on me and I could feel her concern. I appreciated it, but I couldn't tell her everything. Not yet. After school, I walked home slowly. My mind spun with Richard's influence, the whispers at school, and the way even my friends hesitated around me. When I opened the door, Mom was in the kitchen. Hi, honey. How was school? She asked brightly. Fine, I muttered. Richard leaned against the counter. Fine, huh? That's a polite way to hide disappointment. I froze. What do you mean? He smiled, tilting his head. I hear stories. Teachers concerned. Friends wondering. You seem restless. I'm not restless, I snapped. Mom frowned. Richard, that's enough. Just being honest, he said smoothly. I want what's best for him. I can take care of myself, I yelled, the words escaping before I could stop them. Mom's eyes widened. Honey, calm down. Richard's only trying to help. Help? By making everyone think I'm a problem? I shouted. By telling lies? Richard's smile didn't falter. I wouldn't call it lying. Perspective matters. Sometimes guidance requires tough love. You're lying to Mom, I shouted, my chest tight, voice shaking. Strong words, he said, but I'll take them. It shows you care. I respect that. I don't care what you respect, I yelled. I just want you out of my life. Ellie peeked from the doorway. Don't fight, I said, stay out. I snapped at her softly, then turned back to Richard. Why are you doing this? Why can't you just leave me alone? Richard leaned forward slightly. Because someone has to steer the ship. You have potential, but you resist. That's natural. I'm just making sure it doesn't go to waste. I don't need your guidance, I shouted, fury rising. Mom sighed, clearly torn. Please, both of you, calm down. Richard straightened. Fine, I'm calm. Just remember what I said. You'll thank me later. I stormed upstairs, slamming the door. My room felt smaller than ever. Tom's message pinged on my phone. Everything okay? Heard about the fight? I typed back quickly. Yeah, fine. Don't worry. But I knew he'd worry anyway. I didn't want anyone involved. Not yet. I sat on my bed, staring at the wall. Anger, confusion, betrayal, it all swirled together. A storm I didn't know how to navigate. Richard was everywhere, in Mom's head, in my life, even creeping into my school. I felt trapped. Ellie's soft knock broke the silence. Big brother? What? Do you want? I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I just wanted to see if you're okay. I looked at her small, worried face. I'm fine, Ellie. Really. She hesitated. You don't sound fine. I swallowed hard. I'm learning? Learning what? To fight, I said quietly. Her eyes widened. Fight? Yes, I said firmly. Not with him physically, but with my life. I can't let him take everything from me. Ellie nodded slowly, trusting me. I'll help you, okay? I smiled faintly. Thanks, kiddo. Just stay out of it for now. She hesitated, then nodded and left. I listened to her footsteps fade down the hall. I sat back against my bed, heart pounding, mind racing. Richard thought he could control me, manipulate Mom, turn everyone against me, but he underestimated something. I wasn't just going to sit there. I wasn't just going to let him win. Tomorrow I would start planning. I didn't know how yet, but I had to, or I'd lose everything I cared about. I clenched my fists. Anger burned, but beneath it, a cold determination formed. I would survive this, and when the time came, I would rise. I noticed small things that day. Richard never locked doors when he left the room. He hummed the same tune while cooking. His phone always sat face up, notifications glowing, little cracks. I pulled out a notebook and wrote, Stepdad patterns. Arrogant, overconfident, underestimates me. Ellie peeked around the door. What are you doing? Nothing, I said quickly, shutting the notebook. Secrets? Sort of, she smiled. I like secrets. I shook my head. You'd better not tell Mom. I won't. At school, I met Tom. Hey, you okay? You look quieter. I'm thinking, I said. I need to start being smarter. Smarter how? Not just reacting, I said. Observing, waiting. Tom raised an eyebrow. Sounds strategic. Dangerous, too. I don't plan on losing, I said. Later, I stopped by Mr. Daniels' office. The mentor had always noticed things. Mr. Daniels? I said, knocking. Lightly. Come in, he said. You look troubled. I am, I admitted, closing the door. I need advice. He gestured to the chair. Talk to me. It's complicated, I began. My stepdad, he's manipulating my mom, making me look bad. Everywhere. Mr. Daniels nodded slowly. Sounds like you're feeling powerless. I am, I admitted. But I don't want to be. I don't know, a way to handle it. Have you considered documenting it? Every interaction, every lie, every manipulation? I blinked. You mean, like evidence? Yes. Not for revenge, at least not yet. For clarity. To understand patterns, to protect yourself, and maybe later for leverage if necessary. I nodded. I can do that. Good, he said. Stay calm. Don't let him see you react. Let him underestimate you. It'll be his weakness. I can do that, I said, feeling a spark of hope. I walked home slowly, notebook tucked into my backpack. I watched Richard through the window. He laughed with Mom, gesturing animatedly. He thought he had me cornered. I smiled to myself. He underestimated me. That evening, I tested my plan. Mom, can I borrow the car keys? I asked casually. You need them for what? Richard asked from the counter. I need to pick up a book for school, I said. He frowned. You could have asked me to go. I could drive you. I like driving myself, I said. Mom looked uneasy. It's fine, honey. Let him do it. Richard shrugged. Suit yourself. I grabbed the keys, feeling small victories piling up. At dinner, I placed my notebook under the table discreetly. Every word he said tonight, I'd record. Every manipulation, every smile. Richard poured himself wine. Ah, the whole family together. Wonderful. Would you like some water? I asked Mom. I'm fine, she said. I'll take some, Richard said, smirking slightly. Thanks. I watched him closely, noting how he emphasized his role as helper to Mom, as if I were invisible. Ellie nudged me under the table. Don't let him see you're watching. I'm not, I whispered, pen in hand, notebook open under my arm. Richard leaned back. So, how's school, champ? Getting into trouble again? I held his gaze. No, everything's fine. Mom smiled nervously. Yes, everything's fine. Richard raised an eyebrow. That's good. I like kids who behave. Makes life easier for their parents, don't you think? I guess, I said carefully, tone neutral. Ellie watched me, eyes wide. She knew I was holding myself back, letting him think he was winning. Any new friends? Richard asked, swirling his glass. Some, I said. Just some? You used to be more outgoing, he said, smiling. Hope you're not closing yourself off. I'm careful, I said. Careful, he repeated. That's smart. I nodded, scribbling quietly in my notebook under the table. Stepdad uses charm to manipulate, overestimates control, feels superior, vulnerable to observation. After dinner, Richard left to make a call. I opened my notebook again, jotting more details. Mom lingered at the counter, glancing at me. Everything okay? She asked quietly. Yes, I said. Just writing notes for school. She hesitated. You're very serious lately. I have to be, I said softly. Things are complicated. Mom nodded, leaving me alone. Ellie climbed onto my lap. You're going to fix it, right? She asked. I will, I said. But it's not going to be quick. Not yet. Promise? I promise, I said, pressing a hand to her shoulder. I won't let him win. That night, I set up a small recorder in the living room. Every conversation, every subtle manipulation would be documented. I knew the risks. If he discovered it, he'd turn it against me. But I had to start somewhere. I had to fight smart. Sat on my bed, notebook in lap, recorder running. I wrote, Step 1, observe. Step 2, record. Step 3, wait. Step 4, strike when necessary. A calm determination settled over me, stronger than anger. Richard's arrogance was his weakness, his confidence, his manipulations. They all depended on me reacting. I wouldn't. I heard him laugh from the kitchen. Mom laughed too, lightly, nervous. but I didn't respond. I didn't give them satisfaction. I was silent, invisible but aware. Tomorrow, I would continue observing. I would continue small victories at school. I would rebuild my confidence quietly, step by step, and I would rise. The house smelled like cake and flowers when I arrived for Mom's friend Carol's birthday gathering. Richard was already in the living room, smiling too widely at the guests, pouring wine, laughing loudly. "Ah, everyone's here," he said, clapping his hands. "Family, friends, good company." I stayed near the corner, notebook hidden in my jacket. Ellie's small hand found mine. "Don't let him see you," she whispered. "I know," I whispered back, gripping her hand. "Richard's," voice carried across the room. "So, how's school, champ?" I forced a neutral tone. "Good." "Good?" he repeated. "Your teacher mentioned some incidents recently. Yelling? Arguing?" I froze. A few relatives looked up, eyebrows raised. I didn't," I said quickly. "I just answered a question differently." Richard smiled warmly at them. "See? A misunderstanding. He's passionate about learning. You know how some kids are, eager, stubborn, opinionated." Mom laughed nervously. Yes, very opinionated." I clenched my notebook in my jacket. Stubborn and opinionated, words meant to paint me as a problem. One of Carol's friends, Mr. Parker, leaned over. "Sounds like he's got spirit, though." Richard nodded. "Exactly, but guidance is essential. Some children need direction to channel that spirit properly." I wanted to snap, wanted to tell them the truth, but I didn't. I stayed calm. Silent observation. Ellie tugged at my sleeve. "Big brother, I don't like the way he talks about you." "I know," I whispered. "Just stay close." Later, Richard cornered me near the dessert table. "Don't pout, champ," he said softly. "You'll be all right. Everyone sees I'm trying to help." "I don't need help," I muttered, keeping my voice low so only he could hear. He leaned closer. "Ah, but you do. You just don't realize it yet." "I realize perfectly," I said, meeting his eyes. "I don't need you." He laughed lightly. "Strong words, I like that. Shows character, shows fire." I turned away before my face betrayed any reaction. At school the next day, whispers trailed me down the halls. Tom fell in step beside me. "Hey." "People are talking," he said. "I know," I said. "I saw Richard at the party. Heard his stories. They're weird. Some of them don't add up." "Exactly," I said. "And they notice. Some teachers, some friends, even parents." "So, you're okay?" Tom asked hesitantly. "I have to be," I said. "I can't give him the satisfaction." During lunch, Ellie's friend Mia waved me over. "Hey," she said softly. "I heard about last night. Richard. He's over the top." "I know," I said, lowering my voice. "You don't understand." She frowned. "I get it. He's mean in a subtle way. Everyone notices. You're not imagining it." I looked down. "Thanks. It helps to hear that." She nodded. "Stay strong, okay?" "I will," I said. That evening, I set up my notebook again. Every word, every glance, every tone Richard used, documented. I wrote, birthday party, public humiliation, charm, to mask manipulation. Small cracks in his stories noticed by relatives. Ellie peeked in. "Writing again?" "Yes," I said quietly. "It helps me think." She climbed onto the edge of my bed. "I want to help." "I know," I said softly. "But just stay safe. That's enough." The tension in the house was palpable. Richard didn't stop smiling, didn't stop controlling the narrative. Guests laughed at his jokes, not mine. I noticed some looked at me strangely, unsure what to think. Mom laughed nervously beside him. He approached me while I filled out my notes. "You're very quiet tonight. Planning your next argument?" I glanced at him calmly. "No, just Observing. Observing. He smiled, but there was a hint of curiosity in his eyes. Good. A smart kid watches carefully, but don't hide your fire too much. You'll explode one day. I'll manage, I said. I always manage. Ellie tugged my sleeve again. Big brother, he's looking at you weird. Don't worry about it, I whispered. He can look all he wants. Richard's voice rose slightly, drawing attention. So, champ, you like dessert? Or are you too busy sulking in a corner? I didn't reply. I didn't flinch. My notebook under my arm was a shield. I refused to give him anything to react to. Mom leaned over. Honey, just smile. I smiled faintly, barely moving my lips. He noticed nothing. Small victories. Later, Ellie whispered, He can't fool everyone, right? I pressed her hand. No, some people see the truth. That matters more than his fake smiles. I scribbled more notes after everyone left. Power plays public. Observation is key. Keep calm, evidence accumulating. The next day at school, Tom nudged me. You look different. I feel different, I said. Calmer, stronger. Not reacting is harder than you think. I can see that, he said. People are noticing. Some teachers, even parents, they're questioning his stories. I nodded. Exactly. The cracks are there, small but noticeable. Ellie's support helped too. Every whisper, every look, every quiet encouragement, it mattered. I started feeling a strategy forming, one that relied on patience, not anger. I knew the tension would continue. Richard would test me again. Public humiliation, subtle manipulations, lies. It was a constant battle. But I was learning. Every interaction, every conversation, every observation was building my strength. At night, I wrote one last note. Tension escalating. Stepdad overconfident, observing cracks, allies emerging, Ellie, friends noticing inconsistencies. Remain calm. Patience is power. I felt a strange calm settle over me. The knife edge of tension no longer scared me, it sharpened me. Tomorrow, I would test my small victories again. Every smile, every silent reaction, every careful observation, it would count, and I would grow stronger.
I waited until Mom left the house for an appointment. Ellie was in her room, pretending to read. I took a deep breath, notebook and recorder in my backpack, and knocked on Richard's office door. Come in, said voice smooth, almost bored. I stepped inside. We need to talk. Richard looked up, smirk curling at his lips. Oh? About what? Everything, I said simply. About you, Mom, this house, me? He leaned back. Everything? That's a lot. Should I get a pen? I ignored him. Placing my backpack on the chair and opening it. I have every conversation you've had with Mom recorded. Every story you told at school, every lie, every manipulation. He laughed lightly. You're serious? Come on, that's obsessive. I'm serious, I said. Do you think I didn't notice how you've been turning everyone against me? How you made me look bad at school, lied to Mom, tried to isolate me? Richard's smirk faltered for a fraction of a second. I don't know what you mean. Don't? Play dumb, I snapped. I have proof. I held up my notebook and recorder. All of it. Your charm, your stories, your manipulations, they're documented, every detail. He leaned forward slightly. Why are you doing this? Trying to ruin me? No, I said firmly. Trying to survive you. Trying to show Mom the truth. Richard's eyes flicked toward the door, but Ellie didn't leave. I knew she was listening, silently observing. You think Mom will believe you? He said, voice harder. Do you really think she'll just take your word over mine? I didn't flinch. I don't need her to take my word. I have proof. Emails, messages, recordings. You underestimated me. That's your mistake. He ran a hand through his hair. You're overreacting. I only wanted to help. You've misinterpreted everything. Help. I laughed bitterly. You humiliated me in front of friends, teachers, relatives. You lied about me. You made Mom question me. That's not help. That's control. Richard's jaw tightened. Control. You think it's that simple? You don't understand the pressure of family, of keeping everyone balanced. I understand perfectly, I said. You're weak. You need to manipulate, twist the truth, charm people to get your way because you can't earn respect. You can't face reality. He leaned back, trying to regain composure. You're bold, I'll give you that. But boldness without guidance leads to destruction. You could ruin everything if you act recklessly. I'm not acting recklessly, I said calmly. I'm exposing what's already happening. Created this mess, Richard. I'm just showing it. The door opened slowly. Mom peeked in. What's going on? I swallowed, keeping my voice steady. Mom, I need you to see this. Everything he's done, everything he's lied about, tit's all here. Richard's eyes widened slightly. Mom stepped fully inside, glancing between us. I don't understand. I played a recording from my phone, Richard's voice, smiling, telling a story to Mom that contradicted the truth. Another snippet of him at school, twisting words to make me seem aggressive. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, Richard. Richard's confident posture wavered. It's not what it sounds like. It's exactly what it sounds like, I said. You manipulated me, made me look bad, and lied to Mom. Everything. Mom's eyes filled with tears. I didn't know, I thought. Exactly, I said. You didn't know. Because he hid it. He's manipulative. Because he's this. I gestured toward Richard. Ellie came slowly into the room, peeking over my shoulder. Big brother, he lied. Did, I said softly, and I documented it. Richard's smirk was gone. His voice was sharper now. You're crossing a line. You don't understand the consequences. I understand perfectly, I said. I'm prepared. You thought I'd break under pressure? You thought I'd let you control me? You were wrong. Mom looked at Richard, shock and hurt mixing. I can't believe this. You will? I said quietly. I didn't want to believe it either, but he's been twisting everything, controlling everything. Richard shook his head. You're exaggerating. You think you have all the answers? I have proof, I said, not opinions. Proof. You underestimated me. That's your mistake. Ellie stepped closer to me. Mom, he did it. He made everything look bad for my brother. Mom's hands trembled. Richard, how could you? I was trying to help. He snapped, voice rising. Guide the family. You think I wanted this? To be seen as a villain? You made me feel trapped, I shouted. Made Mom question me. Made Ellie watch silently while I was humiliated. Richard's face reddened. I never meant for it to get so. Out of hand. I don't care what you meant, I said firmly. The damage is done, and now you face the truth. Not with anger, not with manipulation, but with reality. That's what you underestimated. Mom sank into a chair, holding her face. I should have seen it. I should have. I believed him less, listened to you more. I didn't want to hurt you, Mom, I said softly. I just had to survive. And now, maybe we can fix this. Maybe we can start seeing clearly. Richard stood there, silent, eyes flicking between us, realizing his control slipping. He had no smirk, no charm. It's the raw realization that I wasn't broken. I wasn't afraid, and he had underestimated me. I closed my notebook. You don't have to leave. Not yet. But the game's changed. I'm not the scared kid you thought I was. I won't let you manipulate anyone anymore. Ellie hugged me tightly. I knew you could do it. Mom nodded slowly, wiping tears. I see that now. Thank you for being brave. Richard finally spoke, quieter, almost defeated. You think you've won? This isn't about winning, I said calmly. It's about truth. And the truth can't be hidden anymore. CHP.6, the house was packed again, this time for Mom's cousin's engagement celebration. Richard moved among the guests, smiling, shaking hands, pouring drinks, acting as if he owned the room. I stayed close to Ellie, notebook in my bag, recorder. Discreetly running. Big brother, are you ready? she whispered. I am, I said. Stay close and watch. Richard approached Mom, leaning in with that practiced charm. Everyone's enjoying themselves, aren't they? You've done a wonderful job. Mom smiled nervously. Thanks. He glanced at me. And my champion here behaving well tonight, I hope? I smiled faintly, showing no reaction. Ellie squeezed my hand. Soon, Richard found an audience around him, telling a story from the last family gathering, twisting my words, making me seem defiant and ungrateful. Then he just stormed off, completely refusing to listen. Richard said, laughing. I told him to stay calm, and he practically lost it. A few relatives frowned. Are you sure? Mom asked softly. Absolutely, Richard said. You know kids. Some are quick to anger, stubborn. I stayed silent, letting him speak. I could feel the tension building. This was the moment I had been waiting for. I stepped forward. Actually, that's not exactly how it happened. All eyes turned to me. Richard's smile twitched. I held up my notebook. I have records, conversations, messages, even recordings. They show what really happened. I wasn't defiant. I wasn't aggressive. This is the truth. Tightened. I cut him off. Everyone can see. You've twisted stories to make me look bad. You've manipulated Mom and even Ellie. It stops now. Mom's hand went to her mouth. Richard, is this true? Richard tried to charm them again. I was only trying to guide him, to help him. I shook my head. Help. You humiliated me, made me look like the problem, and lied about me to everyone here. Ellie stepped forward, voice clear. He did. I saw it. He lied to Mom, lied to everyone, and tried to make my brother feel small. A cousin gasped. Really? Thought so too, Mom said softly. I didn't see. I was blind. Richard's jaw tightened. Mom, it's not what it looks like. He's exaggerating. I held up my recorder. Listen for yourself. I pressed play. Richard's voice filled the room, twisting stories, laughing at my supposed anger, manipulating Mom. The room went silent. His charm faltered. Every lie, every manipulation, exposed. Richard stammered. You don't understand. I was. Mom shook her head, tears in her eyes. I can't believe this. How could I have been so blind? He stepped closer. You weren't blind. He hid it. He thought no one would see. But I documented everything. One of my friends, Tom, stepped in. He's telling the truth, everyone. I noticed too. Things didn't add up before. Mia, Ellie's friend, nodded. He's been twisting everything. My parents noticed it too at school. Richard's face turned red, pride and arrogance crumbling. You're all against me now? No one is against you, I said calmly. We're just seeing the truth. You made your choices. Ellie crossed her arms. And I won't let you lie about my brother anymore. Richard opened his mouth, searching for words. I didn't mean you didn't mean, I said quietly, letting the words hang. But your actions did. You tried to control everything. You underestimated everyone's perception. That's your downfall. Mom stepped closer to me, hand on my shoulder. I owe you an apology. I didn't see what he was doing. Should have listened to you sooner. I know, I said softly. It's not just about apologies. It's about moving forward. We can fix this. Together. Richard's shoulders slumped slightly. He had no charm left, no audience, only the stark truth reflected in everyone's eyes. I don't need to say more, I said. Your lies speak for themselves. A few relatives whispered among themselves. Some shook their heads, disappointed. Others gave me approving looks. The morning sunlight spilled across my desk as I packed my bag for school. Everything felt lighter now, calmer. Ellie peeked in. Big brother, she said softly. You look different. I feel different, I said, zipping my backpack. Better, stronger. Not because the past is gone, but because I survived it. She smiled. I miss this, US. I did too, I said, ruffling her hair. We're rebuilding slowly. Mom appeared at the doorway, holding a mug. Breakfast? She asked. Her voice was hesitant, but warmer than I'd heard in months. Sure, I said. Thanks. She smiled faintly. I wanted to say, I'm proud of you for staying strong. For seeing the truth and keeping your integrity. I didn't do it for pride, I said. I did it because it had to be done, because I had to survive. Mom nodded. I see that now. I owe you an apology for not believing you sooner. You don't have to apologize anymore, I said gently. Just let's move. Forward. Ellie bounced onto the chair beside me. Can we have pancakes? Of course, I said, smiling. Oh, even if we had extra syrup this time. We ate quietly at first, enjoying the normalcy. Then Mom spoke. Your mentor, Mr. Daniels, mentioned that resilience is a skill you learn, not a gift. I see that in you now, I nodded. He helped me see that patience, observation, and calm can be stronger than anger. Ellie looked between us. So, no more scary stepdad moments. I shook my head. He's still around, but his power over us is gone. We don't have to fear him anymore. We just need awareness. Mom sighed, a mix of relief and lingering. Regret. I'm learning to trust you. To trust myself again. I finished my breakfast and grabbed my bag. We all are. Slowly. At school, Tom waved me over. Hey, look at you. You're walking taller these days. I am, I said. Feels good to finally feel like I'm in control of myself, not reacting to someone else's chaos. You handled everything. Brilliantly, Tom said. I don't know if I could have done it. You would have, I said. You just needed the right moment. We all have it. Mia joined us, smiling. Everyone noticed. People finally see the truth now. You didn't. Just survive, you rose above it. I smiled faintly. Rising isn't about revenge. It's about strength. It's about clarity. About moving forward without letting past manipulation define you. Later, during lunch, Ellie sat beside me. Big brother, can we plan our weekend? Just us. Of course, I said. Psst. Maybe a movie? Some ice cream? No chaos. Just us. She grinned. Yes, and maybe Mom can join. Sounds perfect, I said. After school, I stopped by Mr. Daniels' office. You always said resilience is a skill, I said. I think I'm finally starting to understand it. He smiled. I knew you would. You stayed calm, patient, and smart. You didn't react emotionally to every attack. You observed, documented, and chose your moments. I still feel some scars, I admitted. Some memories are hard to shake. That's natural, he said. Scars are reminders. They show how far you've come. Don't hide them, but don't let them control you either. I won't, I said. I've learned to trust myself and others, selectively. And that's enough for now, he nodded. Selective trust is a powerful tool. You've survived. You've grown. That's more than most can say. I smiled. Thanks for everything. Remember, he said, life will test you again. But now, you're prepared. You've learned patience, strategy, and emotional resilience. You're ready to rise alone if needed. Walking home, I felt the cool wind on my face, the weight of the past lifting slightly with every step. Ellie skipped beside me, talking about school projects, friends, and movies. Mom trailed behind, quietly smiling. At home, I opened my notebook one last time. Not for evidence, not for plotting, but to write reflections. I survived. I learned. I rose above manipulation. My integrity is intact. Karma is real, but I don't need to enforce it. Life unfolds naturally. Ellie peeked in. But you're done with. That, for now, I said. It's a record of growth, not revenge. She smiled. I like that. I like you like this. I stood and walked to the balcony, feeling the evening breeze. The city lights flickered below, quiet and steady. For the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of peace. Mom came beside me. You're handling everything with such maturity. I wish I could be as calm as you. You can, I said softly. Just take one step at a time. Observe, reflect, act with purpose. That's how we rise. Ellie joined us, leaning against the railing. Big brother, promise me something. Anything, I said. Promise we'll always face things together, she said. I promise, I said. No matter what, we face it together. At night, I sat by my window, looking at the stars. The shadows of manipulation, lies, and betrayal were behind me. My life wasn't perfect. Scars remained, and Richard's presence lingered, but powerless. I had learned to trust my instincts, my judgment, and my heart. I smiled faintly. We rose. I whispered to the quiet night. We survived. We're stronger, Ellie's voice called softly from her room. Big brother? Yes, I love you. I love you too, I said. The world outside was calm, the future uncertain, but mine to shape. I had risen alone, yet not lonely, surrounded by those I loved and trusted, resilient and ready for whatever came next. And in that quiet, I finally felt free.